Hey everyone, my name is Ethan Terhune, and I'm a Towson EMF student, and I'm going to be building and showing you the Sony FX3 cinema build. Right here, I have the Sony FX3 with nothing on it, and all of the accessories, all of the power cables to be ready to film your short film or documentary. Okay, so getting into the actual build itself. This is a small camera and we're going to be adding different accessories onto it. The first thing I'm going to start with is the base plate with the 15mm rods. So right here you have the place for the rods to go in, and this is going to go into the bottom of the camera. I'm going to start with that. And I start with hand tightening every accessory that I'm using just to get it kind of where it's supposed to be. And then I use my multi-tool right here to really tighten it down. Okay, all right, and so from there, I'm gonna use this plate. This is a Manfrotto style base plate, and I'm going to go into the bottom of this 15mm rod base plate. So the reason I have all of these different plates, because I could just go straight into the camera with this base plate. The reason I'm using that is because I can adapt this just like so. I can have the rods and I can go straight from this plate, which I'll put on here in a moment. I can go off and on, and let's say this is on a tripod. That's what it's used for. So I'll put this on again, just like so. Okay, so now the foundation of the camera is built and it's laying flat. I don't really have to worry about it tipping over again, and that's nice. So the next thing I'm gonna do is insert the 15mm rods right here. Rods in. Okay, and then I'm gonna proceed to use this V-mount plate right here that goes into the rods, and that's where I'm gonna put my battery. And with this V-mount battery, it's too big to fit on the end of the rods, so I have to kind of mess with it around, and there we go. And I like to have this in right here and moving it up a little bit. I like to flip out the LCD screen a little bit further so I have some room to flip out this screen right here. And when I want to access the menu, I don't have to do this right here, right? I can just go like this, tuck it in, and I can just, articulate that. Just saves time while you're on set, and time is everything on set. Okay, so now that that is set, I'm gonna move on to the top handle. And this is the Sony FX3 top handle with the XLR audio input for a shotgun mic, and I'm gonna go straight into the hot shoe mount on the top. Right there, okay. Right, so I'm gonna hand tighten it first, and then I'm gonna use my tool to tighten everything. Everything on this rig will be hand tightened, and then using the multi-tool to make sure everything's tight. It's a pet peeve of mine to be on set and having to adjust things, because it just, again, takes time away. Cool, okay. All right, so now that that is good, I'm going to put the lens on. So here I have the Sigma Sony E mount to EF, Canon EF, and this is an EF mount lens, prime lens, Rokinon lens, and I'm gonna put this mount onto the lens itself first, and then go from there and mount it to the camera. And I have this little blower here to kind of make sure that I don't have any dust on my lens right here. And that's good because if you don't want to get into editing and you see a dust particle on your screen. Right here. Okay. And you'll hear an audible click when the lens is snapped into place. So I'm gonna put these off to the side. Okay, so now that the lens is on, the camera is shaping up. And the next thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in the shotgun microphone right here. And right there. And that's a nice feature about this rig, is that you have an audio source, a quality audio source on the camera rig built in. It's a nice feature of the FX3. Okay, and then you plug it into this input right here. Okay. Okay, so now you have live audio once the camera is powered on. And the final thing I'm going to put onto the camera is the viewing monitor. This is a 5-inch monitor. It's really useful for viewing your frame and what you're shooting while you're shooting on a bigger screen than the built-in LCD screen. That's super important because there's things like focus or exposure. It's hard to accurately see on that small LCD screen. And when you're filming, you want to ideally get, I know it's a funny thing with film students, you want to get the best quality frame. You don't want to fix it in post. And this is one of those camera accessories that will help you do that. Okay. And I like to articulate the arm a little bit off to the side. And this allows you just to move it around. The last thing that I would do now that the rig is set up is I'm going to power everything. So the V-mount into the camera, and that will power the camera. And then I'm going to go from the camera and powering the monitor itself. Okay, so I'm just gonna tuck that in behind. Okay, so now the camera is receiving power from the V-mount battery on the back of the camera. And now I'm gonna go to get signal via HDMI, the HDMI port on the monitor, and then the HDMI port on the side of the FX3. The one thing that I am missing is the power cord for the monitor, and that would just go into either another D-tap, you could do that, or you could do USB-C, or you could do the 8 volt or 12 volt. Okay, so this is the Sony FX3 Cinema build with everything on it, from power to monitor to audio, and everything you really need for, I would say, kind of a run and gun rig. I personally would film documentaries with this. I think it's a great documentary camera. But for students, especially at Towson and other students as well, this is a great camera because it's small, portable, but has great image quality and a lot of capability. And I hope you learned something today, and take care. Have fun shooting.